Well, they're not looking this way. No, well, it looks like it, but. Mm-hmm. It's the game to not forget about the team here as the Saskatoon Berries get set to play host to the Swift Current 57s. Good afternoon, Les Lazaruk with you from Next Gen Patch at Cairns Field. And, well, the Berries won't be playing on this diamond for another 11 days after today. Their next home game after today will be on Thursday, July 25th, when they'll take on Swift Current again. But the Berries, after today, take off on their longest road trip of the season, which will start tomorrow night in Medicine Hat, then a couple of games in Okotoks on Tuesday and Wednesday, Thursday and Friday in Lethbridge, and then back to Weyburn for a couple of games on Sunday and Monday, the 20th and 21st, and a game on the 22nd in Swift Current before the Berries return home. The Berries, though, have already completed step one of what they wanted to accomplish this season. That's clinching a playoff spot. They did so last night when Weyburn lost 11-1 to Regina in the first game of a doubleheader, but the Berries made sure of it by beating the Swift Current 57s last night 18-2. We'll come back with more information prior to today's game, but right now we get set and ready for our national anthem. So it's the 31-5 Saskatoon Berries, first place in the East Division, taking on the last place team in the East Division, the Swift Current 57s, with a record of 7 wins and 28 losses. Berries have won their last 3 games in a row, 8-2 in their last 10 games, and they're 18-2 for the season here at Next Gen Patch at Cairns Field. The Berries have won 3 of 4 head-to-head meetings between these two teams. The 57s have a record of 7-28. They've lost their last 4 in a row, 2-8 in their last 10 games. They're 3-15 on the road this season. It is the mascot Barry's birthday. And if Steve Hiscock, the photographer, isn't careful, he's liable to get beaned by Barry's throw. But he quickly gets out of the way as it's Barry's turn on the mound. And, well, not really a strike, but hey, at least he got it part of the way there. Defensively for the Berries, in right field, it's Ethan Murdoch. In center, Carter Beck. In left field, Evan Janner today. On the infield from left to right, Mason Rell is the third baseman. Cooper Westland's at shortstop today. Abia Medina is the second baseman, and Corey Waters at first base. Rudy Gonzalez is the catcher, and Carson Obrecht is the starting pitcher today. Carson Obrecht will make his first start and just his 5th appearance of the season for the Saskatoon Berries. He has no decisions, but he has 1 save to his credit, a 3.85 earned run average, has pitched 7 innings, allowed 7 hits, 4 runs, 3 of them earned, has struck out 3 and walked 3. Carson Obrecht is from Omaha, Nebraska, coming off his freshman year at Wayne State College. His last appearance was against Weyburn on July 3rd, the 22-4 game in which the Berries beat the Beavers, and he got a 3-inning save that night, not allowing any runs, 2 hits, struck out 3 and walked 1. Carson Obrecht is the starting pitcher today for the Saskatoon Berries, taking on the Swift Current 57s, who will come with basically the same lineup as yesterday, with one exception. Casey Prychak is batting 5th and playing first base instead of Gus Kane. So Silas Hilton will be the leadoff man, followed by Luis Ayala and Wilmer Enriquez. Silas Hilton is the left fielder for the Swift Current 57s. He was 1 for 5 last night. That 1 hit allowed him to extend his hitting streak to 4 games, during which he's 6 for 14. And Obrecht, first pitch, swinging a foul ball towards the third base Swift Current dugout. Strike 1, and we are underway at 1:01 on Sunday afternoon, July 13th. Hilton hitting .308. Obrecht's 1 strike pitch, swing and a miss, strike 2 on a fastball. Up in the zone. Hilton 36 hits in 117 at-bats. 3 home runs and 13 runs batted in. 2 strike pitch. Lloyd Tulp, the home plate umpire, says a little low, 1-2. Lloyd Tulp, the home plate umpire today. Scott Mills at first base. Trevor Drury is the crew chief along the third base line here to start this ball game. Carson Obrecht's 1-2 pitch is fouled up and out of play. We welcome folks tuning in today on CJWW 600 AM in Saskatchewan. Welcome to Saskatoon Berries baseball on the radio. It being a Sunday game, you've got me in place of Vic's Country Classics. Here's Hilton along the ground. Scooped up at short by Cooper Westland. The long throw across in time, 1 away. There were some raindrops here a little earlier on, back about an hour ago, at Next Gen Patch at Cairns Field. Right now, it must be sprinkling up at the airport. Light rain is the description. That would be a few kilometers to the north of us. There's some blue sky coming in from the northwest, as Obrecht, with his first pitch to Luis Ayala, the catcher, is inside, ball 1. 20 degrees Celsius, wind out of the west-northwest at 17 kilometers an hour. Not quite as brisk as it was last night, but still blowing out towards right field. The flags fluttering atop the scoreboard here at Next Gen Patch, as there's a called strike on Luis Ayala. He was 1 for 3 last night with a run batted in. A double and a run batted in for Ayala. He gets this one in the air to right field. Murdoch, we're going back, will make the catch. A healthy line drive off the bat of Luis Ayala, but Ethan Murdoch able to run that down, and there's 2 away. We'll bring up the third baseman, Wilmer Enriquez, who's hitting .296. Was 0 for 4 last night. Slightly below .250 for his last 9 games, but he does have a couple of home runs. He leads the 57s in home runs with 8. Takes a called strike from Carson Obrecht. Enriquez is tied for 3rd in the WCBL with his 8 home runs, behind Ethan Menard. This one's hit hard on the ground. Westland bobbles it at short, throws on, and that'll get past Corey Waters and into the dugout of the Saskatoon Berries is in the first baseline, and Henriquez is going to return and grab something that he dropped on his way to first base. It doesn't seem to need it, but tosses it to the dugout. But a throwing error to Cooper Westland, who's playing shortstop today. Puts a man on second base. And 2 away. An error to Cooper Westland. So Jose Ayala, I have to believe these are twins, Luis and Jose. They're both coming off their senior years of college. First pitch swing, lifted a fly ball into center field. Carter Beck is right there. He'll make the catch. That retires the side. No runs, no hits. 1 Saskatoon Berries error. 1 runner left on base. After a half an inning, it is Swift Current nothing. The Saskatoon Berries coming to bat as you're listening to Saskatoon Berries baseball on CJWW. And you're watching Berries baseball on FloCollege. Nope. That's all right. Bottom of the first inning here at Next Gen Patch at Cairns Field. Adam Corty from Munster, Saskatchewan on the hill for the Swift Current 57s. He is their starting pitcher today. Just completed his sophomore year at Dawson Community College. 6'1", 195-pound right-hander. Corty making his 9th appearance and his 8th start, which will be tied for the league lead after today. He has a complete game and has thrown 41 and a third innings, which is 4th most in the WCBL. Corty's record, 2 wins, 3 losses. He has a save, and that was in the Swift Current victory over Saskatoon back on June the 8th. Carter Beck to lead off against Corty. First pitch in for a strike. Corty's earned run average is 4.13 in 41 and a third innings, 48 hits allowed, 21 runs, 19 earned, struck out 29 and walked 14 as Beck swings and misses at an off-speed pitch, strike 2. Beck was officially 1 for 1 last night. He had a 2-run homer. He also drove in a couple of runs with a couple of sacrifice flies, which now has him tied for the league lead in that department with 5. That pitch upstairs, 1 and 2. Beck also walked and scored on that play back in the first inning last night. Beck pops this one up foul and out of play off of the screen and stays alive at 1 and 2. Corty throwing a change up there that had Beck out front, just reaching and flailing, trying to stay alive, which he does. Cooper Westland, the shortstop, on deck, then the second baseman, Abia Medina, for the Berries. Corty comes set. 1-2 pitch is upstairs, 2 and 2. Carter Beck on a 6-game hitting streak coming into today. It's boosted his average up to 340. Again, the changeup is outside and a full count. Beck 8 for 21 during the 6-game hitting streak. So just under 400. 2 home runs and 7 RBI in that time. Current of Saskatchewan product coming off his freshman year at Indiana State. Hit in the air, left center field, going back, and that is off the glove of Jose Ayala. He'll return it into the infield, but Beck stops up at second base with a double. So for Carter Beck, that is double number 8 of the season. Gets the Berries off to a good start here. Now it's Cooper Westland, the shortstop. Wilmer Enriquez, the third baseman, playing even with the bag. Just in case Westland shows bunt, he does not on the first pitch from Cordy. Taken outside, ball 1. Westland is 6 for 8 on a 3-game hitting streak. Hitting .345 in there for a strike as Cordy drops the arm angle, comes 3/4 overhand sometimes, as he did just then. One and one the count on Westland out of Lincoln, Nebraska. Cordy's pitch is up high, 2-1. Westland 29 hits and 84 at-bats this season. 1 home run and 11 RBI. He had a pinch hit single last night as he took over late in the game for Nathan Houston. This one hit in the air to right field. Braxton Vale is there. He'll make the catch. Beck tags up, and he'll make it to third base standing up. So 1 away, and the first run of the game is potentially 90 feet away from home plate for Abian Medina, the second baseman. Medina, number 9 in the WCBL in batting average coming into today at .377. 40 hits in 106 at-bats. He's got a couple of home runs and 24 RBI. 5'9", 173-pounder from Ponce, Puerto Rico swings and misses at the first pitch from Adam Cordy, strike 1. Medina, 10 for 24, .417 average on a 5-game hitting streak. He'll flare this one over top of the infield and down the left field line. That drops in. Beck will score on a opposite field blooper that just landed inside the foul line. And that's RBI number 25 on the season for Medina, and the Berries have a 1-0 lead. Bring up Ethan Murdoch. First pitch up high, ball 1. Murdoch had a tremendous night last night against his hometown team. Murdoch from Swift Current was 5 for 5 at the plate last night, including a home run and a couple of RBI. Looks at a strike from Adam Corty. Murdoch hitting .300 for the season as a result of that 5 for 5, 36 hits in 120 at-bats. This one's lined into right field, right at Braxton Vale. He'll make the catch, and retreating to first base is Abian Medina, so that's 2 away. They'll bring up the third baseman, Mason Rell. Rell hit his first WCBL home run last night. Berries hit 5 home runs last night in the 18-2 victory over Swift Current. Mason Rell hit one. Carter Beck, Ethan Murdoch, Ethan Menard, who's not in the lineup. Now, Medina almost got picked off as he was jumping towards second base, and as he was jumping in the air, Adam Cordy with the pickoff move, and Medina, luckily that the throw wasn't in a great spot. This one's lined right back up the middle, a base hit for Mason Rell into center field. Medina will put on the brakes at second base. 2 on with 2 away, and it'll bring up Corey Waters, who also homered last night. his 8th of the year. He is tied for 3rd in that department. Ethan Menard and Evan Morrison of Lethbridge are tied for the league lead in home runs with 9. Waters, 3 for 4 last night, including that home run. First pitch from Cordy is on the outside corner, strike 1. Waters has only pitched in 1 game this year so far. He's played a lot of first base or designated hitter for the Berries, and he's responded at the bat, hitting .345. He'll lift a line drive into left field. That'll drop, base hit. Medina's around third, heading for home. The throw into second base. They've got Murdoch in a rundown, and he'll get tagged out just before third, but the run will score. Medina making it 2-0 and an RBI for Corey Waters, but Mason Rell, not Ethan Murdoch, is caught between second and third on the throw in from the outfield. And so that makes it 3 outs in the inning, and the Berries score 2 runs in the bottom of the first inning on 4 hits. There were no Swift Current errors and 1 runner left on base. After 1 inning complete, the Saskatoon Berries have jumped out in front of the Swift Current 57s 2-0. As you're listening to Saskatoon Berries Baseball on CJWW, and you're watching Berries Baseball on FloCollege. Nope, I've looked after it. Everything's good. Pardon me? 7-4-5, yeah. Casey Prychak will come up and lead things off here in the top of the second inning for the Swift Current 57s against Carson Obrecht, who's been staked to a 2-0 lead. Watch the pitch count on Obrecht. He's been a reliever for the most part, as that first pitch off the glove of catcher Rudy Gonzalez to the backstop, ball 1. I managed to get down onto the field and watch a little bit of batting practice for the Berries, standing alongside of Joe Carnahan as that pitch is popped up and out of play. Strike 1, 1-1. Talking to Joe. There's a fly ball into center field. Carter Beck will come over to his right and make the catch. And there's one away. It'll bring up Ethan Bailey, the designated hitter. Anyway, the pitch count for Obrecht, again, a reliever for this season with the Berries. Although he started 6 games out of 8 with Wayne State in Nebraska during the college season, his freshman year, as he throws a strike into Ethan Bailey. So he can start. He did so in college this past winter, but how stretched out he would be after not having started in a while remains to be seen. On the ground towards third, nicely scooped by Mason Rell. Cross-body throw in plenty of time to retire the DH Ethan Bailey. Joe Carnahan, the head coach of the Berries, told me that Carson Obrecht would be on a pitch count 45 to 50 pitches. They'd hope to get 2, maybe 3 innings out of him. He keeps getting guys out. He'll be out there for at least 3. But you don't want to put the cart too far before the horse here as Rydell Adair comes up. Adair, the second baseman, came in as a late inning replacement last night at second base. He takes a strike. Shortstop Trig Mapes is next up. Adair, a left-handed hitter, against the right-handed pitching Obrecht. That's upstairs, ball 1, 1-1. Adair from Swift Current, hometown boy playing for the 57s. Was a redshirt freshman at Bismarck State. He fouls a pitch up and out of play, and that's towards the parking lot area. 1-2 the count. 2 away here in the top of the second inning. We are nicely underway. The sun is trying to squeeze the clouds out. 1-2 pitch, line drive. That'll get over the head of Cooper Westland's leap in the air into left field for a base hit. Adair, with his 23rd hit of the season in 95 at-bats, hitting around 240. He's on first with 2 away, the first hit of the day for the Swift Current 57s. It'll bring up the shortstop Trig Mapes. First pitch up high, ball 1. Mapes hitting .256. 21 hits and 82 at-bats, a couple of home runs and 18 RBIs. Mapes from Great Falls, Montana. One of many freshmen on the Swift Current roster. A young team. Obrecht with a breaking ball that stayed inside on the right-handed hitting Mapes. 2 balls and no strikes. Mapes on a 4-game hitting streak. Hitting .286 with 3 RBIs in that time, including a 1 for 3 last night as he looks at a strike. 2-1. I meant to start adding this up last night when Swift Current was playing here. How many freshmen and sophomores does Rudy Estrella have, the head coach of the Swift Current 57s? It's many. That much I can tell you for sure. Is pitch inside from Obrecht to Mapes, and it's 3 balls and 1 strike. Well, on the pitching staff alone, there's 8 freshmen and 5 sophomores. 3-1 pitch. This one's fisted towards short. Westland with an underhand flip to Abia Medina at second for the force play, and that ends the inning. No runs, 1 hit. No Berries errors, 1 runner left on base. After an inning and a half, it is the Saskatoon Berries 2 and the Swift Current 57's no score. You're listening to Saskatoon Berries Baseball on CJWW, and you're watching Berries Baseball on FloCollege. It's all right. Bottom third of the Saskatoon Berries order today to face Adam Corty, the starting pitcher for the Swift Current 57s, here in the bottom of the second inning with the Berries up 2-0. Evan Janner, the left fielder, catcher Rudy Gonzalez, and designated hitter Jalen Freeman today. Corty's first pitch to Janner, a big swing and a miss, strike 1. Janner did not play last night in the game. Hitting .267, 16 hits and 60 at-bats. Couple of homers and 12 RBIs. On the outside corner from Corty, strike 2 on Janner. From New Braunfels, Texas. 2-strike pitch. Off speed, breaking pitch, and was just outside. 1-2. looked good in the catcher's glove, but it's not where it is in the glove. It's where it is when it crosses home plate or around home plate. Lifted in the air to left field on the 1-2 pitch. Backing up and making a catch is the left fielder, Silas Hilton, and there's one away. So it'll bring up the catcher, Rudy Gonzalez. Gonzalez, a late arrival to the Berries. Calls Edinburgh, Texas home. 21-year-old, won't turn 22 until December the 1st. Up high, ball 1 from Adam Corti. Gonzalez 2 for 9 since joining the team. 222, does have an RBI. Swing and a miss, strike 1. 1-1 the count. Gonzalez coming off his sophomore year at the University of Texas at Rio Grande Valley. Outside, 2-1 the count. Gonzalez in 2 seasons at Rio Grande has hit .212. Inside, ball 3, 3-1. He's played 28 games in 2 years. 11 for 52 at the plate. 10 runs batted in. Outside and a walk. So the Berries get a man on with 1 away here in the bottom of the 2nd inning. He'll bring up the number 9 hitter, Jalen Freeman, the veteran from out of Houston, who had a pretty productive night last night, going 3 for 4 with an RBI. He's hitting .450 in his last 5 games. First pitch swinging, pops it up. Cordy directing traffic. Enriquez in foul territory beside third base makes the catch. And 1 pitch, and Freeman is out, 2 away. Back to the top of the order for Carter Beck. Beck doubled and came around to score on Abiam Medina's single in the bottom of the 1st inning. So 2 away. Rudy Gonzalez at first, getting a pretty good-sized lead, and has to dive back as Adam Corti didn't like the lead he was getting. Carter Beck now on a 7-game hitting streak thanks to that double in the 1st inning. Pitch down low from Corti, ball 1. Beck is 6 for 11 head-to-head against Swift Current this year, with a home run and 7 RBI. 1-0 pitch. Breaking ball stays high, 2-0. Cooper Westland, the shortstop, on deck. Needs Beck to get on base in order for that to happen. 2-0 pitch is outside, 3-0. Actually, the pitch looked pretty good, but Luis Ayala, the catcher, jumped up to take the pitch and wanted to peg on to first base as Rudy Gonzalez's secondary lead was taking him pretty far off the bag. Beck takes a 3-0 pitch for a strike. It's 3-1. Adam Corti ready to deliver. He's got 2 outs here in the bottom of the 2nd inning. 3-1 pitch is up high, and it's another walk. Second one issued this inning. Gonzalez up to second base. It'll bring up Cooper Westland, who flew out to right field his first time up. Westland 3 for 13 in the season series against Swift Current. .231 average. Head-to-head with 2 runs batted in. At second base, Rudy Gonzalez. Carter Beck at first. First pitch is up and in, ball 1. Cordy getting a little bit of a workout here in the second inning. Having trouble finding the strike zone. Couple of walks and a couple of outs. That one's low and away, ball 2. Let's see. This will be his 18th pitch of the inning for Adam Corty. A 2-0 delivery to Cooper Westland, who takes it for a strike, 2-1. Cordy with the ball in hand, right-hander on the mound, taking his sign from Luis Ayala, the catcher. Comes set at the belt. 2-1 pitch, swung on and missed, strike 2. Good fastball, and Westland had a healthy cut at it. So 2-2 the count. Bunch of deuces across the top of the scoreboard here at Next Gen Patch at Cairns Field. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Bottom of the second, and the Berries lead 2-0. You could almost say deuces wild to a degree. 2-2 pitch, foul back to the screen. Staying alive is Cooper Westland. Westland at Nebraska Omaha. Didn't have a great season. Didn't have to play a lot, unfortunately, but at Hutchinson Community College prior to that, some real productive years. He fouls this one off up the third baseline and continues to stay alive at 2-2. Hutchinson Community College in Hutchinson, Kansas. In 2024, he hit .426 with 51 runs batted in 58 games. Curved ball hit on the ground. Henriquez with it. Runner runs by him to third base, but he'll throw on to first in time to retire Westland. And that ends the bottom of the second inning. No runs, no hits for the Berries. No Swift Current errors, 2 runners left on base. After 2 innings complete, Saskatoon Berries 2, Swift Current 57's no score. As you're watching Berries baseball on FloCollege. And you're listening to Saskatoon Berries baseball on CJWW. I know, that doesn't matter. I had to do that for radio because he's waiting on that. That's my fault.
There was 2 left on base, right?
Yes.
That's it? 2? That's it?
Yep. Just 2, yep.
Okay.
But it is 3 because there was one in the previous inning.
I saw 3.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah, but it's 1 plus 2.
Really?
Yep.
That equals 3?
Yes.
Wow. I know.
Okay. Carson Obrecht out for the top of the third inning. Today's starting pitcher for the Saskatoon Berries. Unofficially has thrown 25 pitches to get through the first 2 frames. He'll face the number 9 hitter Braxton Vale, and then back to the top of the order for Swift Current and left fielder Silas Hilton and catcher Luis Ayala. I mentioned Obrecht pitched in 8 games for Wayne State College this past off-season, or this past winter college season. It was his freshman year. He pitched in 8 games, started 6, threw 24 in the third innings, allowed 23 hits, 21 runs, 19 of them earned, struck out 20, and walked 19. Vale shows bunt, fouls it off, strike 1. Obrecht had a 1-1 record and an ERA of 7.03 with Wayne State College. He's just a young guy coming off his freshman year. That one's upstairs and outside. 1-1 on Braxton Vale. Right fielder, who also does some pitching. Hits this one in the air, center field. Carter Beck going back, can't make the catch. It was over his head. Vale, good speed, thought about heading for third and then put on the brakes as he hit second. As Beck able to get the ball back into the infield, but that's a leadoff double for Swift Current in the top of the third inning. So to the top of the order for Silas Hilton, who grounded out to the shortstop Westland to lead off the ball game about half an hour ago, a little more than half an hour ago. Hilton is 6 for 13 now against the Berries, head-to-head this season, with 1 run batted in. Vale dancing around off second base. First pitch is in for a strike on the inside corner to Silas Hilton. Braxton Vale has 3 stolen bases. Been caught a couple of times. He might take off for third here. Obrecht, 1 strike pitch on the ground towards shortstop Westland, who bobbles it. Vale dives into third, and safe across first base is Silas Hilton on the error to Cooper Westland. They'll put runners on first and third with nobody out here in the top of the third inning. And it'll bring up Luis Ayala, who flew out to right fielder Ethan Murdoch back in the first. A healthy line drive that Murdoch had to go back on to make the catch. He first pitch swings and fouls it into the screen, strike 1. Luis Ayala, 3 for 16, now 3 for 17 in his last 5 games and an at-bat, with 1 RBI for the product of Panama City, Panama. Vale at third, creeping in towards home plate as Ayala fouls another pitch off down the right field side. Strike 2, 0-2. Quickly Obrecht ahead. Wilmer Henriquez, the third baseman on deck for Swift Current. Obrecht ready to deal, 2 strikes. Pounds this into the ground. It will go foul. Roll just past the base, foul, as Mason Rell made the decision, as they would not have had a shot at getting Luis Ayala at first, or the man Hilton, Silas Hilton, running from first to second. Braxton Vale had held his position. Count holds at 2 strikes on Luis Ayala, who has to come back and grab his bat and get ready to go again. A smile for home plate umpire Lloyd Tulp, and a little tired after that. Sprinted up the line. 2-strike pitch again coming up to Luis Ayala. 1 for 3 last night with an RBI. Breaking pitch hits him. So now the bases are loaded with nobody outs. And for Luis Ayala, that is the 9th time that he has been hit by a pitch this season. It'll bring up Wilmer Henriquez. Corey Waters going to stand on the edge of the grass at first base. Middle infielders back at double play depth. Mason Rell, the third baseman, just behind the bag at third. As Henriquez lines a shot into left field, Janner couldn't come up with it. They'll throw it back into the infield and everybody is safe. And a run comes home. Braxton Vale scores. Silas Hilton to third, Luis Ayala to second, and Henriquez with an RBI single as Janner came in to his left and dove flat out and couldn't squeeze the ball when he made contact with the ground. An RBI for Henriquez to make it 2-1 as Henriquez with his 21st RBI. So now Jose Ayala, who flew out to center fielder Carter Beck, back in the first inning, getting his second look at Carson Obrecht. Defense same for the Berries. Swing and a miss on a breaking ball, strike one. Still nobody out here for the Berries or at least defensively for the Berries. Swift Current at bat. They haven't recorded an out yet. And now we have action down the right field line as the catcher's gear heads out that way. Ayala with a high fly ball down the left field line. Janner over will make the catch. He'll throw the ball back into where it's third base, but coming home to tie the ball game up at 2-2 is Silas Hilton on the sacrifice fly by Jose Ayala. One away, runners on first and second, and we're tied up at 2-2. It'll bring up Casey Prychak, the first baseman who flew out to center fielder Carter Beck back in the second inning. For Jose Ayala, that's RBI 22 on the season for him. Runners going from second to third and a pitch down in the dirt. Luis Ayala able to steal without drawing a throw as Casey Prychak looks at ball one. So now Swift Current 90 feet away from taking the lead for the first time in the last couple of days. This one's lined into right field. That'll drop for a base hit. Murdoch takes it on one hop and gets it back into the infield. Wilmer Henriquez up to second base. Prychak with his 10th RBI of the year, bringing in Luis Ayala, and it's 3-2 now for Swift Current. And down the right field line, Joe Carnahan has Matthias Tronson warming up. And Joe Carnahan's making the walk out towards the pitcher's mound. Obrecht sailed through the first two innings pretty quickly, but has run into some issues here in the top of the third. 3 hits, an error, and a hit batsman have led to 3 Swift Current runs. A sacrifice fly thrown in there for good measure. As Lloyd Tulp, the home plate umpire, will come out and break up the meeting, and Obrecht stays out to face Ethan Bailey, the designated hitter, who grounded out to third base his first time up. First and second with one away here in the top of the third inning. And Swift Current has gone ahead 3-2. Obrecht looking to get out of this, maybe get some help from his defense here. First pitch swinging, line drive, that's into right field, a base hit. The runner's at the weight. Now Murdoch bobbles it in right field, and that will allow all the way in from second base Wilmer Henriquez to score to make it 4-2, and Casey Prychak moves on to third. Ethan Bailey with an RBI single. I don't know if it's necessarily an RBI single. I think that the runners would have held up their bases had Murdoch fielded the ball cleanly. So an error to the right fielder Murdoch brings in the run as Wilmer Henriquez scores to make it 4-2, and Casey Prychak is at third and now first and third. Foul back to the screen by Rydell Adair, who singled his first time up last inning. 4 runs in for Swift Current here in the top of the third against Carson Obrecht, with Matthias Tronson now warming up down the right field line. Outside, ball 1-1 to Adair, who came into the game at 234, but singled his first time up. A home run and 10 RBI for him. Adair was 2 for 13 in his last 6 games prior to that single. as Obrecht with a toss over to first to check on Ethan Bailey, who has not stolen a base yet. But with one away and runners on first and third, he might try and draw a throw and see if we can't get a double steal going. Fouled off. This will be out of play and into the parking lot. 1-2 the count on Rydell Adair. Trig Mapes is on deck. If he gets up, Swift Current will have batted around. Here in the top of the third. A throw over to first. Back in safely is Ethan Bailey. Adair is 4 for 13 in the season series against Saskatoon now. In his third season as a member of the Swift Current 57s, his hometown team. This is lined, but hook slicing foul and out of play. Count holds at 1-2. Matthias Tronson will be close to being done here, ready to go. This could be Obrecht's last batter. Foul ball off the curve. And again, the count holds at 1-2. Unofficially, 20 pitches thrown this inning by Carson Obrecht and 45 for this appearance. 1-2 pitches outside, 2-2. Yes, if I were a betting man, this would be Carson Obrecht's last hitter based on the pregame conversation I had with Joe Carnahan, where the pitch count was about 45 to 50 for today's starter. This one's looped into left field. Coming on, Janner. He won't get it. Neither will the shortstop Westland as the ball bounces away into foul territory, but everybody will just move up 90 feet, and it's now 5-2 as Casey Prychak scores on the single by Rydell Adair. And here comes Joe Carnahan, and indeed we are going to have a pitching change right now. One out here in the top of the third inning. Swift Current with 5 runs in, lead it 5-2, and Matthias Tronson will come on in relief. So place applause here from the fans on a Sunday afternoon at Next Gen Patch at Cairns Field as Tronson will come into the game. Product of Toronto. 6'5", 220-pounder, who's going to be pitched this past year at Eastern New Mexico University. Tronson has pitched a couple of seasons at Eastern New Mexico. He had Tommy John surgery a couple of years back. So basically, has been coming back the last couple of years. Didn't pitch a lot at Eastern New Mexico in 2024. And actually, he was at Northeastern Oklahoma in 2023 and didn't pitch a lot. And at Eastern New Mexico, just one game in relief and didn't record an out in that one game. But of course he pitched last year here with the Berries, made 9 starts, 10 appearances, a 1-1 record, of 3.60 earned run average. And Tronson now this season will be coming in. And let's see, let's find him on this list. He'll be making his 7th appearance, 5th out of the bullpen, 1 win, a 5.53 earned run average. He's pitched 13 innings, allowed 12 hits, 9 runs, 8 of them earned, struck out 19 and walked 6, but his last two outings have been exceptional as he comes in to face Trig Mapes, the ninth hitter of the top of the third inning for Swift Current. Still one out and two men on. First pitch from Tronson is in there for a strike. Carson Obrecht again had a very good opening two innings, but here in the third it's come apart for him. And Swift Current has jumped on and been able to make things happen. Bounced into the hole at short. Westland with a good play to come the short route to third to get a forced there. And there's two away. Mapes on first. Rydell Adair up to second. But Ethan Bailey is forced out. 6-5 for the second out. And Braxton Vale, who doubled and scored to lead off this top of the third inning, comes up for a second time. And he'll face Matthias Tronson. Tall right-hander. Ready to deal. Swing and a miss by Vale. Strike one. Tronson's last two outings. Back on July 3rd against Weyburn, he got credit for the win in the 22-4 victory over the Beavers, pitching 4 innings in relief. Fouled off by Vale, 2 strikes. Allowed 1 earned run on 2 hits, struck out 3, walked nobody, and then on July 7th at home here against Moose Jaw, Tronson pitched 2 innings, allowed 2 hits, struck out 5, didn't walk anybody. That was a solid outing, to be sure. 2 strikes, and now Tronson will back up off the rubber. As he didn't like the fact that Rydell Adair was getting a pretty sizable lead off second base. Tronson's 2-strike pitch with 2 away. On the ground, that'll get through into right field for a base hit. Murdoch up with it. He'll throw it home. He'll let it go. Gonzalez is there. The tag got played and he's out. Adair coming around third, heading for home, and Ethan Murdoch with a strike to home plate to Rudy Gonzalez to slap the tag on Adair for the third out. Stops the bleeding in the third inning, but Swift Current score 5 times, and they do so with the benefit of 6 hits. There was 2 Barry's errors, and 2 runners left on base. After 2.5 innings, it is Swift Current 5, Saskatoon 2. As you're listening to Saskatoon Berries Baseball on CJWW, and you're watching Berries Baseball on FloCollege. No, well, you can, yeah. Yeah. Yep, yep.
I think I need some physio.
Mm.
I gotta fix this picture. Can you watch that time? Okay.
Yeah.
12, 11.
Bottom of the third inning here for the Saskatoon Berries, suddenly finding themselves down 5-2 to the Swift Current 57s. Called strike on Medina. Home plate umpire Lloyd Tulp says Medina went too far with his check swing through the strike zone. So Adam Cordy, now with a lead, pitching for Swift Current, gets ahead of the Berries' second baseman, who singled and drove in a run in the first inning. And now a change-up, swing and a miss, strike two on Medina. Ethan Murdoch, the right fielder, and third baseman Mason Rell coming to the plate here in the bottom of the third for the Berries, who trail by 3. On the ground towards second base. Scooped up by Rydell Adair. The throw on to first in time. 1 away. Murdoch flew out to right field. Swift Current product back in the first inning. He's 10 for 16 in the season series against the 57s. 5 for 8. That's 625. Couple of home runs and 4 RBI. Outside, ball 1. Murdoch attended Marshall University last couple of years. 10 home runs this past season. As a strike. That one bounced in. And now a warning to the Berries bench about arguing balls and strikes. 1-1 the count. Outside, 2-1. Ten home runs and 40 RBI for Murdoch at Marshall University this past college season. This one on the ground towards third. Enriquez takes the room service, hops, and guns it across to first in time. There's 2 away. It'll bring up Mason Rell, the third baseman. Rell singled in the first inning, but got thrown out after he reached second base on a Corey Waters single, going a little too far up the line towards third, and was eventually tagged out on a rundown play. Looks at a first pitch strike, does the product of West Bend, Wisconsin. Up high, 1-1. Corey Waters hoping to get a chance on at the plate here. Needs Rell to get on base. Swing and a miss on a breaking ball, 1-2. Adam Corti settling down after giving up 2 runs in the first inning. The 1-2 pitch from Corti is hit on the ground towards short. Up with it is Triggs. Throw on to first in time. Trigg Mapes throws him out. 3 ground ball outs in the bottom of the third inning. 3 up, 3 down for the Berries. And after 3 complete, it is Swift Current 5, Saskatoon 2. As you're listening to Saskatoon Berries Baseball on CJWW. And you're watching Berries Baseball on FloCollege. Top of the fourth inning upcoming here at Next Gen Patch at Cairns Field. As we take a look at the line score unofficially for the Swift Current 57s, 5 runs on 7 hits. They have not committed an error, and they've left 4 runners on base. For the Saskatoon Berries, 2 runs on 4 hits. They've committed 3 errors, and they have left 3 runners on base. As we head to the top of the 4th and the top of the order for Swift Current to face Matthias Tronson, an overhand curveball is in for a strike. Silas Hilton reached on an error last inning. Came around to score. He's 0 for 2 today. Matthias Tronson, the second Berries pitcher for the day. This one's a slider that's outside, 1-1. Catcher Luis Ayala, third baseman Wilmer Enriquez will follow. 1-1 pitch on the outside corner, strike 2. Matthias Tronson ready to deliver again. Breaking pitch bounces in, bounces off the catcher Gonzalez all the way back to the backstop, but nobody on base, so no harm, no foul. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Silas Hilton, who's 1 for 5 in last night's game, which was an 18-2 Berries victory. Line shot right at Cooper Westland, and there's one away. Well tagged by Hilton, but right at the Berries shortstop for today. It'll bring up Luis Ayala. Flew out to right field in the first inning, was hit by a pitch last inning, stole a base, and eventually came in to score one of the 5 Swift Current runs. 5 runs on 6 hits. Couple of errors and a hit batsman thrown in there. This one hit down the left field line, but that's hooking foul. Swift Current as a team are 11th in the league in hitting at .256 coming into today. They've only stolen 19 bases now as Luis Ayala fouls that back to the screen, 0-2. Have hit 26 home runs, which is 8th most in the league. Their stolen base total is 12th and last in the league. And their OPS as a team batting, on base percentage plus slugging at .731 coming into today, was 10th out of 12 teams. Ground ball to short. Westland up with it. The throw across, 2 away. It'll bring up Wilmer Henriquez, who's 1 for 2 today. Reached on an error in the first inning, I should say. Singled and scored with an RBI in the 3rd inning. His single actually got the 57s on the board, bringing in Braxton Vale. And by the time he scored, suddenly Swift Current were in the lead that they hold now, as Tronson's first pitch in the dirt, a breaking pitch down low, ball 1. Jose Ayala, the center fielder, on deck. We're just over an hour into the ball game. This one's popped up in the air in the infield. Second baseman Abiam Medina is calling it. He'll reach back and make the catch as the wind blowing out to right field might have given him a problem there, but it's a 3-up, 3-down inning for Matthias Tronson in the top of the 4th. No runs, no hits, no Berries errors, nobody left on base. And after 3.5, it is Swift Current 5, Saskatoon 2. As you're listening to Saskatoon Berries Baseball on CJWW, and you're watching Berries Baseball on FloCollege. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Is that the one where the problems are? Yeah, okay. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Coming up on the bottom of the fourth inning here at Next Gen Patch at Cairns Field on a Sunday afternoon. It is now partly cloudy here, even though it says mostly cloudy at the airport, according to Environment Canada. Temperatures back up to 22 degrees Celsius. Wind out of the west-southwest at 26 kilometers per hour. Picked up a little bit. Blowing a little bit more towards center field now. West-southwest. But still pretty decent out towards right over top of the scoreboard in right field here at Next Gen Patches. Berries will send up numbers 6, 7, and 8 hitters against Adam Corty. His first pitch to Corey Waters is down low, ball 1. Waters singled and drove in ABM Medina with the Berries' second run in the first inning. That one's up high, 2-0. Waters now with hits in 7 of 8 games, 12 for 29 in that time. 8 RBI as well in the last 8 games that he has played in. Big swing and a miss on a 2-0 pitch, and it's 2-1. Waters has 4 home runs in his last 8 games. 8 for the season. Up in the strike zone, he pops this one up. Shallow right field, drifting back. He was called off the second baseman by Braxton Vale, the right fielder, and then neither of them caught it. So Waters is on first with a base hit. Error to the right fielder. Okay. So it's going to be an error on the right fielder, Braxton Vale. It'll bring up Evan Janner, who flew out to left field his first time up. Second baseman Adair was drifting back, seemed to have a beat on it, and then got called off by Vale, and then the next thing you know, the ball falls in, and it's the leadoff man on for the Berries here in the bottom of the fourth. So first error of the game for Swift Current. And another pitch up and in to Evan Janner, 2-0. Janner is 0 for his last 8 at the plate. Would like to break out of that and get something going here in the terms of a rally. Outside, according to Lloyd Tulp. And now we've got the Swift Current battery not happy. Adam Corty thought he had thrown a strike. Luis Ayala, the catcher, held on to the ball because he thought that it was strike 1 before he threw it back, but instead it's 3-0. And that is inside ball 4. A 4-pitch walk. Waters will move up to second. Rudy Gonzalez, the catcher, coming up. Gonzalez walked his first time up. It's the third walk issued by Adam Corty here this afternoon. Nobody warming up down the left field line in the 57's bullpen. Corty is a bit of a workhorse for these guys. 41 and a third innings pitched, and this is his 9th appearance. First pitch strike called on Gonzalez. "5-2 Swift Current leads in the bottom of the fourth inning. Foul back to the screen, 0-2. Quickly, Corty's ahead of Rudy Gonzalez. Jalen Freeman, the designated hitter, is on deck. And then to the top of the order for the Berries. Corty with a 2-strike count. Outside, ball 1. 57s thought that one was pretty good too. Not getting the call from home plate umpire Lloyd Tulp. One-two pitch on the ground towards short. Big hop to second for 1, to first, not in time. Good hustle by Gonzalez down the line to beat it out. Waters down to third on the fielder's choice. There's one away. And Jalen Freeman will be the batter. Shortstop Trig Mapes took the high hop back into him and kind of had it stuck in his glove. He wasn't able to get the potential double play started right away. Waters at third, creeping toward. Now the throw over to third. They almost caught him as Waters was ambling back slowly, and Luis Ayala with a throw down to third. Henriquez slapped the tag on, but Waters was able to scramble back in time. Now a throw on over to first to check on Rudy Gonzalez, and he's back safely. Want to know the count on Jalen Freeman. Fouled out to third his first time up. 3 for 4 with an RBI last night against Swift Current. Foul back to the screen, 1-1. Middle infielders for Swift Current are playing about halfway. Wilmer Henriquez, the third baseman, is just behind level with the bags. And the first baseman, Prychak, is holding the runner on. Curveball in there for a strike. 1-2 the count on Jalen Freeman, with Carter Beck on deck for the Berries. Cordy with a long look. Delivers outside, the throw back down to first. And back safely is Rudy Gonzalez. 2-2 the count. Gonzalez, his first time up when he walked, caught the attention of Luis Ayala, who wanted to throw down like that and didn't. It's the secondary lead that Gonzalez is getting. Freeman with a long drive down the right field line, but that is hooking foul. Well, they say it's a home run. It's off the foul pole. A 3-run homer. I thought that it did land foul, but it went off the foul pole first. A 3-run shot for Jalen Freeman, his first home run of the season. And this game is tied up at 5-5. Just like that. Well, excuse me. I was watching that one twist towards foul, but it hit the foul pole and bounced into foul territory. But because it hit the foul pole, that's out of here. And now Cordy's first pitch to Carter Beck is a strike. 3 RBI for Jalen Freeman, and we're tied up at 5-5 here in the bottom of the fourth. Up high, 1-1 to Beck. Carter Beck 1 for 1 today, doubled and scored in the first inning, walked in the second. The 1-1 pitch has popped up. Foul territory towards the Swift Current bullpen, and Wilmer Henriquez, the third baseman, can't catch up with it. It'll fall for a strike, 1-2. 1 away here in the bottom of the fourth inning. Cooper Westland, the shortstop, on deck. Beck will try to start another series of rallies here for the Berries in this bottom of the fourth inning. Up high and outside. 2-2 the count. A bloop that fell in between two players. This is fouled off. Count holds 2-2. A walk, a fielder's choice, and now a 3-run home run by Jalen Freeman. Freeman up to 22 RBI for the summer. Beck hits it on the ground towards second. Rydell Adair with it. Throws on to first, and not in time. Beck hustling up the line, able to get there. Adair had to go to his right to take the ground ball, and turned and threw and didn't get enough on it to beat Carter Beck to first base. So an infield single, and here comes Rudy Estrella, the head coach of the Swift Current 57s, out to chat with his pitcher. And again, I think part of it is some disagreements with the balls and strikes with home plate umpire Lloyd Tulp. We may see when umpire Tulp heads out to break up the meeting that there may be a few words spoken. So let's watch this, because they were not very happy earlier on this half inning. Well, Estrella, and there's a little bit of a discussion about the strike zone right there. And Lloyd Tulp, the home plate umpire, putting the hand up and saying, okay, that's enough. If you want to be out of the game. Hey, when you're managing a team or a head coach of a team that's 7-28, you've had your share of calls go against you, I'm sure. And when you're leading 5-2 against the number one team in the league, and that start getting balls and strikes not going your way, you tend to get a little upset. As Westland, first pitch swinging, hits it in the air, right center field, and center fielder Jose Ayala over to make the catch. 2 away. A.B. Medina, the second baseman, coming up. A.B. Medina is 1 for 2, singled and drove in a run, also scored in the first inning. Grounded out to second last inning. We're tied up at 5-5 here in the bottom of the fourth. Carter Beck on first. And he'll draw a throw over from Adam Cordy. No action in either bullpen right now. Cordy's pitch on the outside corner, and Medina doesn't like the strike call now. One strike the count on A.B. and Medina. A throw over to first to check on Beck. Tag up on the foot when his hand is already back at the bag. Ain't going to cut it. Beck again takes his lead. Threatened to go and holds up. Meanwhile, the pitch up high. 1 ball, 1 strike. Carter Beck has 8 stolen bases. Medina fouls that back out of play. 1-2. Here in the bottom of the fourth inning. Sunday afternoon. Barrie's last game at home until the 24th of July, when they'll play these Swift Current 57s again. Adam Cordy will throw and fire over to first. Beck able to get back. Count at 1-2 with 2 away here in the bottom of the fourth. 3 runs in for the Berries. Breaking pitch up high. Again, the battery thought that was strike 3, and they were starting to head to the dugout, but not getting the call. 2-2 the count. I don't think that one was a strike anyway. That looked a little bit up high. 2-2 the count, 2 out. Top line on the scoreboard here at Next Gen Patch Cairns Field. Medina fouls it off, stays alive at 2-2. Barry's second baseman from Ponce, Puerto Rico. Finished his senior year at Texas A&M International. And again fouled out of play. Medina, in 4 years of college ball, 20 home runs and 143 RBI in 188 games, hit .362. That one sends outside, and it's a full count now. Medina here, 1 for 2 today. 41 for 108. He's got to be around the 380 mark for an average, so it's kind of in keeping with what he did in college. Beck takes off for second, and he'll get there safely because Medina has drawn a walk. And now Ethan Murdoch to the plate. Murdoch flew out to right in the first inning, grounded out to third in the third inning. Back when Adam Cordy had a 1-2-3 inning. This one not that way. This will be the eighth man he faces. On the ground in between the hole, short and third, into left field. Beck will chug around third and come for home and will make it. And everybody else holds their ground. But now the Berries are back out in front by a score of 6-5 as an RBI single for Ethan Murdoch, his 26th RBI of the summer, makes it 6-5 for Saskatoon. And we are getting action now down the left field line. Starting to warm up for Swift Current is Chase Cummins, a right-hander. Mason Rell takes a first pitch strike. He is the 9th batter to hit for the Berries here in the bottom of the 4th inning. 4 runs in, a 6-5 lead. Again, an error or errors coming into play. The inning got off to an inauspicious start for Swift Current in the field as a pop-up in shallow right field fell in between the second baseman. Their appeal at first on a check swing by Rell, not granted. 1 ball, 1 strike. The ball fell in between the second baseman and the right fielder who had called off the second baseman. And that got the Berries started. 1-1 pitch. Up high, 2-1. Rudy Estrella wants Adam Cordy to work his way out of this. But he has fallen behind. 2-1 pitch is up high. Ball 3, 3-1. And you can just see Cordy seething on the mound right now through gritted teeth saying, what do I have to do? What is the strike zone right now? Rell on a line drive to right field. That will drop in, base hit. Around third, heading for home is Abian Medina. The throw back into the infield will be cut by the first baseman Prychak. As around to third is Ethan Murdoch, and it's 7-5 now for the Berries. They've hit around, and Corey Waters will come up for a second time here in the bottom of the 4th. First pitch to Waters is in for a strike. Corey Waters reached on that bloop that fell in between the two fielders in shallow right field and came around to score. He is officially 1 for 2 today. Cordy with a throw over to first to check on Mason Rell, who's 2 for 3 on the day. Rell drove in Medina just now for Mason Rell. That's his first run batted in, 19th RBI of the season. It's called strike on Waters. 0-2, Cordy ahead. Pitch up high, 1-2. Evan Janner, the left fielder, is on deck. One-two pitch from Cordy. This one hit in the air. Right center field. Braxton Vale coming over. He's calling for it, and he makes the catch to retire the side finally for the Saskatoon Berries in the bottom of the 4th inning. They score 4 runs, and they do it with 4 hits. 1 Swift Current error, 2 runners left on base. After 4 complete, the Berries are back out in front by a score of 7-5 as you're listening to Saskatoon Berries baseball on CJWW, and you're watching Berries baseball on FloCollege. Hang on.
for us. It's on base 5. That guy was moving. Bill, you got time. You could talk to me. It's 14.
Yeah. Okay. Top of the 5th inning upcoming here at Next Gen Patch at Cairns Field. Saskatoon Berries now with a 7-5 lead. Matthias Tronson coming on for a second full inning of relief, he hopes. He has retired the last 3 batters he has faced here. A 1-2-3 top of the 4th inning. He'll face Jose Ayala, who has a couple of fly ball outs, but one of them being a sacrifice fly in the 3rd inning that brought in a run. Tronson's first pitch up high, ball 1. Tronson, 1-0 pitch. This one's hit well into the air, left center field. Guys look up, and that one is gone. Home run, Jose Ayala to left center field. Makes it a 1-run ball game at 7-6. Jose Ayala with his 5th home run of the season and his 2nd in as many games against the Saskatoon Berries, as he homered last night in the 18-2 loss. Today he makes it 7-6 with a leadoff shot here in the top of the 5th. 23rd RBI of the year as well. Tronson's first pitch, a swing and a miss by Casey Prychak, strike 1. Prychak singled and scored in the 3rd inning, flew out to center in the 2nd inning. Strike 2 called on Prychak. Tronson ready to deliver the 2-strike pitch. This one's popped up center, shallow right field. Coming on is Ethan Murdoch. He'll make the catch. 1 away. Ethan Bailey, the designated hitter, coming up now for the Swift Current 57s. He's 1 for 2. Singled in the 3rd inning. It was his single that was muffed out in right field by Murdoch that led to a run coming in on the play. His curved ball from Tronson is in for a strike to Ethan Bailey. One strike pitch, breaking ball again, down low, ball 1. 1-1 the count. Tronson delivers. This one's popped up. Foul territory, playable for Corey Waters. He'll make the catch. And there's 2 away. Ethan Bailey is another one of the Swift Current products with the 57s. Coming off his freshman year at Garden City Community College, but now up it's Rydell Adair, another Swift Current kid who's 2 for 2 today, a couple of singles. His 3rd inning single drove in a run. Takes a strike from Matthias Tronson. This is the last of the order for Swift Current to face Tronson for the first time in this ball game. Breaking ball down and in, ball 1. Couple of hits for Adair, get his average right up to 250 now. 24 for 96. 1-1 pitch. Hit in the air to right field. Murdoch comes on, makes the catch. And after giving up the solo home run to Jose Ayala, Matthias Tronson retires 3 straight. But we have a tight game here at 7-6 as the 6-57 score a run on a hit. No Barry's errors and nobody left on base. Halfway home, 4.5 through. It is Saskatoon 7, Swift Current 6. As you're listening to Saskatoon Berries Baseball on CJWW. And you're watching Berries Baseball on FloCollege. Well, Adam Cordy's back out for the bottom of the 5th inning to pitch, the starting pitcher for the Swift Current 57s. Trailing 7-6 to the Saskatoon Berries. Evan Janner to face him first, the bottom third of the Berries order, and Janner takes a strike. Janner walked his last time up. He's 0 for 1 today. If he gets on base, he can be a treat to watch because he's not afraid to run. 14 stolen bases, which leads the team. Fouls that one off. 0-2, he's behind, though. Catcher Rudy Gonzalez and designated hitter Jalen Freeman, who has the big hit today for the Berries. A 3-run homer that put them back out in front, or back to the tie as a swing and a miss. Janner, that's the first strikeout of the afternoon for Adam Cordy. Cordy has allowed 8 hits to go along with the 7 runs, and now 4 1/3 innings. He's also walked a few, 4 to be exact, with his first strikeout. First pitch to Rudy Gonzalez is a called strike. Gonzalez walked in the 2nd inning, reached on a fielder's choice in the 4th, and came around to score on the 3-run homer by the now on-deck hitter Jalen Freeman as Gonzalez fouls a pitch back to the screen. He's behind 0-2. Adam Cordy is about to throw his 100th pitch of the day unofficially. Fouled off. Count holds at 0-2. Again, unofficially in the 4th inning, Cordy threw 42 pitches. But he's still out there. He is indeed a workhorse for the 57s. Gonzalez fouls that back. Caught in the on-deck circle by Jalen Freeman. Count holds at 0-2. 7-6 Saskatoon leads in the bottom of the 5th inning. On a nice Sunday afternoon. Swing and a miss, strikeout, back-to-back strikeouts now for Adam Cordy here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Gonzalez will hand his bat to Jalen Freeman and say, here, use this stick and see if you have better luck than I did there. Might be a hole in that bat. In Gonzalez's mind. Jalen Freeman, no homer the last time up. Takes a called strike. Cordy is dealing now. He's in the strike zone continuously this inning. There's a called strike 2 on Freeman. Freeman is a pitch away from striking out, and Cordy with a 3 strikeout inning. That one is outside. Looked like he threw a knuckler there. It hung outside, 1-2. Cordy's 1-2 pitch, swung on a miss, strike 3. He strikes out the side. Nothing across for the Berries in the bottom of the 5th inning. No runs, no hits, no Swift Current errors, nobody left on base. After 5 complete, it is the Saskatoon Berries 7 and the Moose Jaw, or the Swift Current 57s 6. As you're listening to Saskatoon Berries Baseball on CJWW, and you're watching Berries Baseball on FloCollege. Hang on a sec here. Got 3 and 5 or 8 and 4 or 12. I've got 106, but I probably missed. Yeah, okay. I try to keep up, but it's bound to. I'm liable to miss a few. Trust me. Is that right? Yeah. I try to keep up. Matthias Tronson back out for the top of the 6th inning for the Saskatoon Berries to pitch. He'll face Trig Mapes, the shortstop, Braxton Vale, the right fielder, and then the top of the Swift Current 57's order, Silas Hilton, here in the top of the 6th inning. Tronson came on after 2 1/3 innings for Carson Obrecht, the starter. Gave up 5 runs in the 3rd inning, and now it's Tronson in. He gave up a solo home run to Jose Ayala last inning. Breaking ball in for a strike. Mapes is 0 for 2, has bounced into a couple of fielders' choices. One strike pitch. Line drive into right field. That'll get down for a base hit. Trig Mapes is upped his game hitting streak to 5 games now, as he's 1 for 3 today. And 3 for 12 against the Berries this season. Braxton Vale comes up. He's 2 for 2 today. Doubled and scored in the 3rd inning, and then was the 10th man up in the 3rd inning. Singled, but had a runner thrown out at home plate. Vale lifts a fly ball, shallow center field. Coming on is Beck, and Carter Beck will outrace the baseball and catch it in shallow center field for the first out. Shortstop Westland, left fielder Janner are also converging on the ball, but if the center fielder thinks he can get to it and calls it, it's his ball. He is the guy out there that takes charge. Mapes on first, one away. Silas Hilton, the leadoff man up, showed bunt and pulled the bat back, and ball 1. Hilton is 0 for 3. Reached on an error in the 3rd inning and scored. Seven-6 Berries with the lead on Swift Current here in the top of the 6th. A breaking ball outside. Good job by Rudy Gonzalez to keep that caught and getting away, as that was well outside. 2-0. Swing and a miss, strike 1 as Hilton waved at that one. Silas Hilton out of Placitas, New Mexico, coming off his freshman year at Trinidad State College. A few members of the Swift Current 57s went to school there this past winter. That's upstairs, 3-1 to Hilton, with Luis Ayala, the catcher, on deck. high, ball 4. Hilton is on. Mapes up to second. Luis Ayala is coming up to the plate. And we're going to start to see some activity down the right field line in the Berries bullpen, I'm pretty sure. Meanwhile, down the left field line, there is a pitcher standing on the mound. Turner Zadunich is starting to warm up down the right field line. He may be next up to pitch for the Berries. Tronson's pitch in the dirt, blocked by Gonzalez. Runners hold, ball 1. Ready to come into the game for Swift Current to pitch is Chase Cummins. You have to think that there's a chance that could happen, as Adam Cordy has thrown 106 pitches through 5 innings. Again, a block by Gonzalez on a breaking ball outside, 2-0. Tronson starting to labor a little bit here. In the 40 pitch range for his outing. Fastball fouled back, 2-1. Actually, he's closing in on 45 pitches unofficially. 2-1. Hit in the air, pop up in the infield. Infield fly rule is called, as Abia Medina again had to stumble back and catch the ball behind his head as the wind carries that a little bit. But there is 2 away, and the runners hold their spots. Trig Mapes at second base, Silas Hilton at first. Wilmer Henriquez is the batter. He is 1 for 3 today. Singled and scored in the 3rd inning and drove in a run. Tronson's first pitch, fastball in there for a strike. Henriquez is dangerous. He's got power. 8 home runs for him this year. 1 strike. Curveball blocked, and the runners hold. It was in the dirt, and a good job again. Rudy Gonzalez has done a tremendous job behind the plate today. Agile and athletic behind the plate. Not afraid to block the ball. Moves laterally very well behind the plate. 1-1 pitch. On the ground towards the shortstop, Westland. He'll go the short route to second to Medina for the force out, and that ends the inning. For Swift Current in the top of the 6th inning, they did not score a run. They had a hit, no Berries errors, and 2 runners left on base. After 5 1/2, it is Saskatoon 7 and Swift Current 6. As you're listening to Saskatoon Berries baseball on CJWW, and you're watching Berries baseball on FloCollege. Hang on, I'll check it here right away. Yep. 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 New pitcher. Bottom of the 6th inning here at Next Gen Patch at Cairns Field. New pitcher into the ball game for the Swift Current 57s. It'll be Submariner Chase Cummins coming on. And the reason why I say Submariner is because he's got that delivery where he'll drop down and almost looks like he's throwing the ball underhanded, but it's a whippy action from down low, like Kent Tekulve used to do back in the day with the Pittsburgh Pirates, back in the 70s. They show some old pictures of Tekulve in mid-delivery. It looks like your body shouldn't be able to do the things that he was able to do. Carter Beck will be the first to face Chase Cummins out of Orcutt, California, coming off his freshman year at Cerro Coso Community College. We'll tell you more about Chase Cummins here in a moment. Beck up to the plate, though, to face him. First man to face him here in the 6th inning. And the first pitch is popped up. Caught by the shortstop, Trig Mapes. One away, as that's the first time that Beck has been retired in the 2 games against Swift Current this weekend. He was 2 for 2, doubled, singled, walked. And scored 2 runs, but now he's 2 for 3 for the day, and it's Cooper Westland who's 0 for 3, looking to extend a small 3-game hitting streak, as the first pitch from Cummins is down low, ball 1. Chase Cummins on for Swift Current, making his 11th appearance of the season, 10 of them out of the bullpen. 1 loss, a 9.17 earned run average. 1-0 count. Pitch to Westland is outside, ball 2. Cummins has pitched 17 2/3 innings, allowed 29 hits, 19 runs, 18 of them earned. Struck out 16 and walked 7. Second pitcher of the day for Swift Current. Westland showed bunt, pulls the bat back, and it's a called strike from home plate umpire Lloyd Tulp. 5 innings for Adam Corty. He had 3 pretty decent innings. 2 innings, though, have been his undoing. 2 in the first as that pitch loops up and away to Westland, and it's 3-1. 2 runs allowed in the first inning, and 5 in the fourth by Corty. Westland hits it between between short and third into left field for a base hit. And that hitting streak is up to 4 games now, as Westland is 1 for 4, and it brings up second baseman Abiam Medina, who's 1 for 2 today. An RBI, 2 runs scored. He walked his last time up in the 4th inning. That's the 9th hit of the afternoon for the Berries. Cordy gave up 8 of them. Cummins with a throw over to first. Westland is a threat to steal. 7 stolen bases this year. Been caught a couple of times. He's got a pretty good sized lead over there at first base. First pitch to Medina is called outside, ball 1. Ethan Murdoch on deck for the Berries. Here in the bottom of the 6th inning. Westland takes off. Ball hit up the middle. It'll be taken at second by Adair and thrown on to first. That was the only play, as Westland was already at the bag by the time the ball was fielded by Adair in that second base vicinity. So the hit and run works to keep them out of a double play. Medina out for 2 out. Westland is on second. And Ethan Murdoch with a chance to bring home the run here and extend the Berries' lead here in the bottom of the 6th inning. Murdoch singled and drove in a run back in the 4th inning. He's 1 for 3. And there's a breaking pitch in for a strike. Ethan Murdoch again is from Swift Current, playing against his former team and his hometown team. And again, he's had good success against them this season. Fouled it off at the plate. Behind 0-2 to Chase Cummins. Murdoch's 11 for 18 head-to-head against Swift Current this season. 2 strikes, 2 outs, bottom of the 6th inning. Here at Next Gen Patch at Cairns Field. Cummins out of the stretch. The submarine offering is outside, 1-2. Couldn't get Murdoch to chase. Murdoch just passed his 22nd birthday back on Friday. That one gets away, and actually it hit him. So Westland stays at second. Cummins hits Ethan Murdoch with the pitch. 7th time he's been plunked this year. First and second with 2 away, and Mason Rell, who's 2 for 3 today. Couple of singles and a ground out. Has an RBI. His 19th of the year for the Indiana State, coming off his freshman year. First pitch is in for a strike. (7-6) Saskatoon leads Swift Current here in the bottom of the 6th inning. Westland dancing around. Pitch down low to Rell, 1-1. Westland would like to get a jump on things, maybe steal third here. He's got a pretty sizable lead. Rell pokes this one foul, and this one's over top of the Barry's bullpen area down the right field side. 1 ball and 2 strikes on the Saskatoon third baseman. Corey Waters, the first baseman, is on deck. Meanwhile, down the right field line, action in the bullpen. Turner Zadunich continues to throw. Rell with a ball up the right field side, into right field, base hit. Westland around third, heading for home. Braxton Vale's throw will be cut at the mound by the first baseman, Casey Prychak, and it's 8-6. RBI single for Mason Rell. 3 for 4 today with 2 runs batted in. Productive afternoon as Murdoch stops up at second, and here's Corey Waters now. 1 for 3, singled and drove in a run in the first inning. Reached on an error in the 4th and scored a run, and has flew out to right field. And now we have Rudy Estrella, the head coach of the 57s, coming out to talk to his pitcher, as we do have action down the left field line in the 57s bullpen. It's a right-hander, I can tell you that right now. Looks like 37. That's Giancarlos Rodriguez from Bronx, New York, coming off his freshman year at Mineral Area College. He's warming up, not coming in right away. Chase Cummins will get a chance to get out of the inning as he faces Corey Waters, who's heading for Winthrop University in Rock Hill, South Carolina this coming year after 2 seasons at Mid-Plains Community College, McCook campus. First pitch from Cummins to Waters is a strike. Waters went to high school at Aiden Bowman, one of 5 Saskatoonians on the Barry's roster. Cummins delivers down low, blocked by Luis Ayala. 1-1 the count. Evan Janner's on deck. Needs Waters to make it safely on base some way, somehow, in order to get a chance. 1-1 pitch. Fouled off at the plate, even though it dribbled down the third baseline and was pounced on immediately by Cummins. Foul called, 1-2. Here's Cummins' pitch. Inside, 2-2. And again, we have that line across the top of the Next Gen Patch scoreboard here at Cairns Field. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Bottom of the 6th inning. 1 run in, 8-6 Berries now with the lead on Swift Current. Cummins' delivery. Smacked into the air, right field. This one's looped into right field. Coming on, and Jose Ayala, the center fielder, gets there and makes the catch to retire the side. Berries get a run, though, in the 6th inning on 2 hits. There were no errors for Swift Current and 2 runners left on base. We've played 6 complete. It is Saskatoon 8 and Swift Current 6 as you're listening to Saskatoon Berries Baseball on CJWW. And you're watching Berries Baseball on FloCollege. Yeah, let me just see. 1, 3, 5. Yes, that is right. But this needs to get up to 10. Yep, we're good. But just leave it down because I'm going to do a line score.
Yeah, you're good still. 24, 23. Ouch. 18, 17, 16, 10, 5.
Let's take a look at the unofficial line score through 6 innings of play here at Next Gen Patch at Cairns Field for the Saskatoon Berries. 8 runs on 10 hits. They've committed 3 errors. They've left 7 runners on base. For the Swift Current 57s, 6 runs on 9 hits. They've committed 1 error and they've left 6 runners on base. New pitcher into the ball game for the Berries. Joe Carnahan and Ryan Olcheway, the pitching coach, have tabbed Turner Zdunich to come on. Zdunich out of High River, Alberta, coming off his freshman year at Colby Community College. 6'2", 190-pound left-hander. Zdunich will make his 4th appearance of the season and 3rd out of the bullpen. He has no decisions, a 9 earned run average, pitched 4 innings, allowed 4 hits, 5 runs, 4 earned, struck out 1 and walked 3. First pitch from Zdunich to Jose Ayala is outside, ball 1. Ayala with a solo home run to lead off the top of the 5th inning. Breaking ball down low, 2-0. Ayala 1 for 2. He has a couple of RBI today, solo home run and a sacrifice fly. Puts this one on the ground. Quarters gives chase. Taking it is Medina, knocking it down in shallow right field, but they will not get Jose Ayala at first base. He's on with an infield hit. 10th of the day for Swift Current. Casey Prychak, the first baseman, now coming up. He's 1 for 3 with a run scored. Couple of fly ball outs otherwise. Zdunich will work out of the stretch here now. Look right at the runner Jose Ayala at first. First pitch breaking ball stays inside on the left-handed hitting Prychak for a ball. Eight six Berries with the lead, top of the 7th. Prychak pops this one up, foul. That gets into the screen. 1 ball, 1 strike. Turner Zdunich on to pitch. 1-1 count outside, 2-1. Tying run at the plate here in the top of the 7th for Swift Current. They're hanging around today as this is a bit of a bullpen day for Joe Carnahan and the Berries. Pitch on the outside corner, 2-2. Started Carson Obrecht, who had not started a game this season, in the Summer League at least. 2-2 pitch, check swing. They'll appeal. And nope. 3 balls and 2 strikes, full count. Three and 2 the count now on Casey Prychak. Ethan Bailey, the DH, is on deck. Fastball hit on the ground. Waters stabs it on to second for 1. The throw back to first. In time, double play. Zdunic, the pitcher, covering as he's supposed to on any ball hit to the right side of the infield. And a neatly turned 3-6-1 double play by the Saskatoon Berries here in the top of the 7th inning. I thought that ball had gotten under the glove of Waters into right field, but there he was with it in his glove. Look, Ma, what I found. Swing and a miss now by Ethan Bailey, strike 1. Good peg by Waters to second, and then Cooper Westland with the return throw to Zdunic covering. Swing and a miss. Strike 2 to Bailey. He's quickly down 2 strikes here with 2 away in the top of the 7th inning. Rydell Adair, the second baseman on deck. Down low, 1-2. Double play ball, the pitcher's best friend. Without a doubt. 1-2 pitch. Breaking pitch, down low again, 2-2. Zdunic back up on the mound. Still action down the left field line in the Swift Current bullpen. 2-2 pitches up and away. Now a full count. Zdunic was way ahead of Ethan Bailey, 0-2, and now he's got a full count. Would like to get that third out. This one's popped up in the infield. Medina calling off Waters and makes the catch. Retires the side. 1 hit, but a double play erases that. No Berries errors, nobody left on base after 6.5 as we head to the 7th inning stretch. It is the Saskatoon Berries 8 and the Swift Current 57-6. You're listening to Saskatoon Berries Baseball on CJWW, and you're watching Berries Baseball on FloCollege. You're doing fine. Okay. All good. New pitcher. Yeah, they did. Yep. Bottom of the 7th inning upcoming here at Next Gen Patch at Cairns Field. 8-6. Saskatoon Berries leading the Swift Current 57s. Bottom third of the Berries order to face a new pitcher. Third one of the afternoon for Rudy Estrella and the Swift Current 57s. It'll be Giancarlos Rodriguez, coming off his freshman college season at Mineral Area College. product of Bronx, New York, 6 foot, 176 pounder. Giancarlo Rodriguez into the game. And this will be his 7th appearance of the year. 5th from out of the bullpen. 1 win, 3 losses, a 4.86 earned run average. Has thrown 20 in the 3rd innings, allowed 21 hits, 13 runs, 11 of them earned. Struck out 15 and walked 6. He'll face Evan Janner, Rudy Gonzalez, and Jalen Freeman here in the bottom of the 7th inning with the Berries up 8-6. Chase Cummins pitched an inning and gave up a run. Hit a batter with a couple of hits allowed. Rodriguez first pitch. Janner on the ground towards first. Scooped there by Casey Prychak, and he'll touch the bag for the first out. Rudy Gonzalez up now. Gonzalez is 0 for 2. Walked in the 2nd inning. Reached on a fielder's choice and scored in the 4th and struck out in the 5th. Berries with a 31-5 record, and they head out on the road for 8 in a row after today. First pitch strike from Giancarlo Rodriguez to Rudy Gonzalez. Tomorrow it's a makeup game, or postponed game from a visit Medicine Hat earlier this year. Called strike 2 now on Rudy Gonzalez. Then the regularly scheduled games, Tuesday and Wednesday in Okotoks, Thursday and Friday in Lethbridge. A week from today and next Monday in Weyburn. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Gonzalez strikes out, and that's 2 away here in the bottom of the 7th. And the road trip finishes with a game in Swift Current a week from Tuesday. The Berries come home and host the 57s again on Thursday, July 24th. 2 out quickly here in the bottom of the 7th inning. Jalen Freeman, 1 for 3. That one was big. A 3-run homer that erased a 5-2 deficit. Put the Berries on even footing, and eventually they've taken the lead and now lead it 8-6. 3-run homer by Freeman off the foul pole on the right field line. 1-0 pitch coming from Giancarlo Rodriguez. Swing and a miss. Rodriguez threw that one so hard his hat came flying off his head. 1-1 the count. One pitch upcoming. And fouled just wide of third base as Rodriguez with a fastball, and Freeman got a bat to it, just didn't quite get around enough to get it fair. 1-2 the count.
He just needs to get smaller braids. Too many braids in.
Bottom of the 7th. 2 outs. 1-2 pitch. Bounces in 2-2. The hat comes off of Rodriguez's head with every pitch. Doesn't matter whether he's throwing a fastball or a curve right now. Two and two the count on Freeman. Again, bunch of deuces across the top of the scoreboard here at Next Gen Patch at Cairns Field. 2-2. And a little hitch in that delivery. Down low, full count. Carter Beck on deck. Giancarlo Rodriguez gets that hat back in place. Ready to deliver a full count pitch to Jalen Freeman. Here in the bottom of the 7th inning. He throws out of the stretch, does Rodriguez. Hit up the ground, and it's a foul ball off of the leg of Freeman. So his count remains 3-2. That one had some English on it because it hit foul with its first bounce and then cut into fair territory and went right over the bag. Fielded by Casey Prychak. So a break actually for the Berries that it's a foul ball. Allows Freeman to stay at the dish. Giancarlo Rodriguez again. 3-2 pitch upcoming. Is low and away, or low and inside, I should say, ball 4. Freeman will get first base, and Carter Beck will come to the plate. A 2-run ball game. I wouldn't be surprised if Freeman attempts to take off for second, try and steal a base, get into scoring position so that a base hit can bring him in and extend the Berries' lead. We'll see what happens. First pitch to Beck is down and in, ball 1. I didn't catch what the applause is for. Oh. Beck pops this one up. Foul territory. Henriquez over towards his dugout and can't make the catch. Beck stays alive on what is an error to the third baseman for allowing that to happen. Yep. So runner on first. Still, Rodriguez should be out of the inning. Beck will get a chance to continue the hit. 1-1 the count on him. Carter Beck is 2 for 3 today as Rodriguez steps off the rubber and asks for the signs to be given to him again. Jalen Freeman with his lead at first. Takes off for second. Pitch up high. Ayala's throw down is into center field. Going to be backed up by Jose Ayala, so Freeman will hold his ground, but records his 12th stolen base of the season. Berries as a team came into today with 87 stolen bases, third most in the league. 2-1 the count on Carter Beck. Giancarlo Rodriguez pitching to Beck. Ooh, cupcakes. Must be from Barry's birthday bash. Thank you. Strike 2 called. Beck looks over at home plate umpire Lloyd Tulp, says that's low and away. Not pleased. 2-2 the count. Beck shaking his head as he steps back into the left-handed batter's box. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs again here in the bottom of the 7th inning. Carter Beck at the plate. Giancarlo Rodriguez, a lot of looks at second. This one's hit in the air to center field, well hit. Going back, and you can kiss that baby goodbye. 2-run home run for Carter Beck. And it's 10-6 for the Berries here in the bottom of the 7th inning. Straight away center field over the 400-foot mark. A bomb from Beck to make it 10-6. They'll bring up Cooper Westland, the second baseman. 1 for 4 with a run scored back in the 6th inning. Both those runs are unearned, as Rodriguez's first pitch to Westland is up high, ball 1. Swift Current should be out of this inning, but the foul ball by Beck hit and dropped by Wilmer Henriquez allows the Berries to get 2 runs here. Up and in, ball 2 to Westland. Those are the types of things that happen to teams that are 7-28 on the season. And the teams that are 31-5 take advantage of those types of breaks. Strike called on Westland, 2-1. You hate to belabor that type of point, but hey, truths are truths. Two-one pitch coming to Cooper Westland. Big swing and a miss. Strike two. It's 2-2. Beck is 3 for 4 today. That home run is his 5th, and 2 RBI give him 26 on the season. Foul back to the screen. Count holds at 2-2. And again, can't help but mention that Carter Beck will get another 3 home runs and a raft of RBIs when they finally get around to getting the June 6th game posted back up, maybe as early as tomorrow, I'm told. But that'll up his home run total to 8, and his RBI total will be up over 30. Up high, and a full count. Giancarlos Rodriguez got the first 2 men out, but walked Freeman, stole second. Wilmer Enriquez dropped a foul ball, and Carter Beck hit a 2-run homer to straightaway center field. Now it's a full count with 2 out to Cooper Westland. This one hit in the air, and it will land foul down the right field side. Westland stays alive at 3-2. Abia Medina is the on-deck hitter for the Berries. 4-run lead for Saskatoon now. Gives Joe Carnahan a little bit of room to breathe with his pitching staff as he wants to come away with another win. 3-2 pitch is bounced in, ball 4. Again, action down the left field line in the Swift Current bullpen. Another right-hander working for Rudy Estrella as Abia Medina makes his way to the plate. Warming up down the left field line is Ethan Bailey, who's the DH in this game. Meanwhile, catcher Ayala out to the mound. Home plate umpire Lloyd Tulp getting some fresh baseballs from the Berries ball boy. The home team has the baseballs in their dugout, the supply for the game. Medina, 1 for 3 today with a couple of runs scored and an RBI. Facing Giancarlos Rodriguez. Taking off is Westland. Throw down to second, and unable to make the tag is Trig Mapes. Dropped the ball as he went to make the tag, and Westland is in safe. With a stolen base, his 8th of the year. One ball to count on Abia Medina. Runner in scoring position again. Inside 2-0, and now catcher Luis Ayala shows a little frustration at the lack of a strike called there. Giancarlos Rodriguez also thought it was a strike. He'll try and right himself emotionally to pitch here on this 2-0 count. Medina skies this one. Shallow center field. Coming on is Jose Ayala. He'll make the catch, and that does retire the side. But not before the Berries scored a couple of runs on one hit. There was one Swift Current error and one runner left on base. We have played 7 innings here at Next Gen Patch at Cairns Field on a Sunday afternoon. It is Saskatoon 10 and Swift Current 6. As you're listening to Saskatoon Berries Baseball on CJWW, and you're watching Berries Baseball on FloCollege. Hang on. No, just one left on base. Well, we're back for the top of the 8th inning. Barry's up 10-6 on the Swift Current 57s. A nice Sunday afternoon. It was cloudy and cool. We had a little bit of rain happened just before game time. Turner Zadunic's first pitch to Rydell Adair, the second baseman, up high, ball 1. She's turned into a glorious afternoon. Partly cloudy, pretty much mainly sunny here at the ballpark. Called strike now on Rydell Adair, 1-1. 24 degrees Celsius. Wind out of the west at 29 kilometers per hour. Breaking ball bounces in, 2-1 on Adair, who's 2 for 3. Singled in the second, singled in the third, and flew out to right field in the 5th inning. Fouled off, 2-2 now the count. Shortstop Trig Mapes, right fielder Braxton Vale are due up here in this inning. Rudy Gonzalez thought he had strike 3. It is up high according to Lloyd Tulp. And a full count now to Rydell Adair. Lloyd Tulp, the home plate umpire, being emphatic. This one on the ground. Taken at first base by Corey Waters. He'll step on the bag himself. Adair retired, one away here in the top of the 8th inning. Trig Mapes to the plate now. He's 1 for 3, extended his hitting streak to 5 games with his single in the 6th inning to lead off the inning. Zadunic's first pitch is a swing and a miss, strike 1. Zadunic back ready to deliver again. Breaking ball off speed, swung on and missed by Mapes, and it's 0-2. Trig Mapes, a redshirt freshman at Trinidad State College out of Great Falls, Montana. 2-strike pitch. Breaking ball down and in. 1-2. Back he comes, 1-2 pitch. Foul back to the screen. Mapes stays alive at 1-2. Zadunic with a fastball. Up high and outside, 2-2. Two pitch upcoming to Trig Mapes, and he fouls it back to the screen to stay alive again. 2-2 the count. Way up high and back to the backstop from Zadunic as he tried to put a little extra into that one. Full count, 3-2. We're going to try and find out an attendance figure for this afternoon. 3-2 pitch is up high. Mapes draws a walk. An 8-pitch base on balls. It'll bring up Braxton Vale, the right fielder. That walk starts some stirring down the right field line in the Barry's bullpen. Adam Beeman starting to stretch it out. He might be brought into the ball game. Zadunic, as Vale shows bunt and offered at it, and it didn't get it. It's strike 1. Vale is 2 for 3 today, doubled and scored in the 3rd inning, and also singled in the 3rd inning as Swift Current sent 10 men to the plate. Breaking ball nicely in there, strike 2. Left-handed hitting Braxton Vale against left-handed pitching Turner Zdunich. Runner on first is Trig Mapes. And again, a breaking ball, strike 3 for Braxton Vale, and there's 2 away. First strikeout of the appearance for Turner Zdunich, and now he'll face Silas Hilton, the left fielder who's up for a 5th time today. 0 for 3 officially. Reached on an error and scored in the 3rd inning. Walked his last time up against Matthias Tronson. First pitch fastball in there for strike 1. Indeed, it is Adam Beeman up and throwing down the right field line in the Berries bullpen. Top of the 8th inning, 10-6 Saskatoon. Pitch outside, 1-1. $1,926 the official attendance here this afternoon for Barry's birthday, the Saskatoon Berries mascot. Down and in, good block by Rudy Gonzalez. 2-1 the count. Two and one the count on Silas Hilton. That's inside. 3-1 now. Zdunich doesn't want to get too many men on base here. He'd like to finish off this top of the 8th inning without any issues. Has a man on, 2 outs. A 3-1 pitch, and that's ball 4. A couple of walks now issued in this half inning. Adam Beeman warming up now, and Joe Carnahan's going to take a walk out to the mound before Luis Ayala comes up to the plate. Zdunich has a strikeout, a couple of walks. He's allowed a hit in his inning and 2/3. Joe Carnahan comes out and says, "How are we feeling? You got one more out in you to get out of this inning, and then we can turn it over to someone else for the last one." Luis Ayala, the catcher, coming up. He's 0 for 3, hit by a pitch and scored in the 3rd inning. Meeting at the pitching mound is done. Zdunich will try and get himself out of this smallish type jam. 2 men on and 2 out. Luis Ayala, the batter. He's 4 for 16 head-to-head against the Berries this year with 2 RBI, so hitting .250. Now he calls time immediately upon getting in the batter's box and steps out. You might ask why, and it's called gamesmanship. Try and get in the head of the pitcher. Get him anxious. Get him to make a mistake. Get him to give you something that you can drive. Zdunich's first pitch in there for a strike on the inside corner. Luis Ayala with the top batting average on this team coming into today. Breaking ball in there for strike 2. One strike away from getting out of it. 10-6 Berries leading here in the top of the 8th inning. Hit in the air, foul territory. That will get out of play down the right field side. And Luis Ayala stays alive at 0-2. Again, Zdunich with a 2-strike pitch. Checks the runner at second. That one's down low, 1-2. Shade more than 15 pitches required as he had in the 7th inning to get himself out of this one. It'll be his 27th pitch of the inning here. Strike 3 called, a breaking ball that Ayala wasn't expecting. Zdunic, with his second strikeout of the appearance, freezes Luis Ayala and gets out of it. No runs, no hits. 2 runners left on base, no Barry's errors. Through 7.5, it's Saskatoon 10, Swift Current 6. As you're listening to Barry's Baseball, Saskatoon Barry's Baseball on CJWW. And you're watching Barry's Baseball on FloCollege. We have another new pitcher in for Swift Current here in the bottom of the 8th inning. It's the DH, Ethan Bailey, who will take over in place of Giancarlos Rodriguez. So the DH is out of the ball game now. Ethan Bailey will pitch here in the bottom of the 8th inning for Swift Current. Bailey will make his 4th appearance as a pitcher, all in relief. 1 save to his credit, a 2.25 earned run average. 4 innings pitched only. He's allowed 5 hits, 1 run earned, 5 strikeouts, and nobody walked. Ethan Bailey will face Ethan Murdoch, Mason Rell, and Corey Waters for the Berries here in the bottom of the 8th inning with Saskatoon up 10-6. New catcher into the game as well for Swift Current. Juan Almonte taking over behind the plate in place of Luis Ayala. Similar to last night, Almonte taking over late in the ball game. And now, before he throws a pitch, Bailey steps off and going to reset as he gets together with catcher Almonte. Swing and a miss by Murdoch on the first pitch. Strike 1. Ethan Murdoch is 1 for 3 today. Strike 2 called on a slider. Murdoch with a single and an RBI in the 4th inning. Hit by a pitch in the 6th. His 5th plate appearance of the day here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Up high, 1-2. Barry's looking to make it 4 wins in a row. On the ground towards the shortstop, Trig Mapes. Fields throws on in time at first base. 1 away. Mason Rell, who's had a good afternoon, 3 for 4 for the Berries. 3 singles. Couple of RBI for him. Coming off his freshman year at Indiana State. Teammate of Carter Becks and relief pitcher Zach Laird there. First pitch from Bailey is in for a strike. Rell hit .274 down at Indiana State with a couple of home runs and 13 RBIs. Having a good summer as that pitch from Bailey gets away from the catcher. 1-1 the count. And that one hits Rell. So Rell advances to first with that hit batsman. On base for the 4th time today. It'll bring up Corey Waters, the first baseman for the Berries. 1 for 4, singled and drove in a run back in the first inning. Bailey's first pitch to him is a called strike. Holding the ball for a bit is Bailey. His pitch is down low, 1-1. Evan Janner, the left fielder, is on deck for Saskatoon. 1 away here in the bottom of the 8th. Just past 2.5 hours gone in this ball game. That one's on the inside corner, a breaking ball for a strike. 1-2, I should say, the count on Corey Waters. Bailey with the 1-2 pitch. Waters shoots that to right field, and that one's getting towards the corner, going to be cut off by Braxton Vale. Waters around first, heading for second. He'll slide in safely. Mason Rell around to third. Second hit of the day for Waters. 2 for 3. And now Evan Janner, who's 0 for 3 today, with a walk. But he's got 2 ducks on the pond here if he can deliver. A left-handed hitter for the Berries, and Juan Almonte, the catcher, going to go out and have a word with Ethan Bailey. Bailey's spot in the order comes up 4th in the top of the 9th inning. So if they were to make any kind of change to the pitcher here, which I sincerely doubt they will right now, but you never know, then the pitcher coming in would have to hit in the top of the 9th if it got to his spot, which would be 4th in the inning. Evan Janner looks at the first pitch strike from Ethan Bailey. Flew out to left, walked in the 4th, struck out in the 5th, grounded out to the first baseman, Casey Prychak, in the 7th inning. Janner waiting on the 1 strike pitch, fouls that off. 0-2, he's behind. Catcher Rudy Gonzalez on deck. He's 0 for 3 today, but had a solid outing behind the plate. Two strike pitch is up high, 1-2. One away here in the bottom of the 8th, 1-2 count on Evan Janner with runners on second and third for Saskatoon. That is low, close. 2-2 the count. Good eye by Janner. Ethan Bailey getting his sign. Almonte wants the pitch up high. 2-2 is fouled off wide of first base. Janner stays alive. 0 for his last 10, Janner. He'd like to break out of that. 0 for 8 in the season series against Swift Current. Base hit right now would do some wonders for him and, hey, for the team as well. That one's outside and up, and a full count to the Berries left fielder. Janner attends the University of Texas, Rio Grande Valley in Brownsville. 3-2 pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3. First strikeout of the appearance for Bailey. 2 away here now in the bottom of the 8th, and it'll bring up Rudy Gonzalez, the catcher. Gonzalez has struck out his last 2 times up, reached on a fielder's choice and scored in the 4th inning, walked in the 2nd. Again, the possibility of driving in a couple here with a safe hit into the outfield. Called strike at the knees. Jalen Freeman, who's got a couple of runs scored, hit a 3-run home run today, stole a base. The designated hitter. Inside 1-1. Good fastball from Ethan Bailey. Swift Current product. One pitch upcoming. And that one stays up high. Trying to spin that, probably a slider, and it didn't do it. 2-1 the count. Ethan Bailey staring in at Juan Almonte, the catcher. 2-1 pitch. Called strike. 2-2. Bunch of 2s across the top of the scoreboard here again in the bottom of the 8th inning. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Rudy Gonzalez, the hitter. Runners at 2nd and 3rd. This one hit on the ground towards 2nd and booted, and second baseman doesn't know where it is. He'll finally come up with it, but Gonzalez is on the error, as coming in to score is Mason Rell and Corey Waters over to 3rd base. Make it 11-6 now in favor of the Berries. And Jalen Freeman to the plate. Freeman is 1 for 3. A 3-run homer. This is a strike. That 3-run homer came in the 4th inning when the Berries were trailing 5-2. And then the Berries tacked another couple on that inning to take the lead, and that's a lead they have held since then. Freeman fouls that off towards the Berries' first base dugout, down 0-2 now. Jalen also walked, stole a base, and scored on the 2-run home run by Carter Beck back in the 7th inning. That put a little insurance on the board for the Berries. Beck is on deck, looking at possibly getting a 6th plate appearance. And called strike 3 on Freeman. He doesn't like the call from Lloyd Tulp. Arguing a little bit. But that is the end of the inning. And now Jalen Freeman just got tossed. And the fans don't like it. 1 run for the Berries on a hit. There was 1 Swift Current error and 1 runner left on base. Sorry, 2 runners left on base, as after 8 innings of play, it is the Saskatoon Berries 11 and the Swift Current 57's 6. As you're listening to Saskatoon Berries Baseball on CJWW, and you're watching Berries Baseball on FloCollege. New pitcher.
He didn't get kicked out. That's good.
Adam Beeman on to pitch the top of the ninth inning for the Saskatoon Berries. He is the fourth pitcher of the afternoon for Joe Carnahan. His team up by 5. Meat of the order for Swift Current. Hitters 3, 4, and 5. Wilmer Henriquez, the third baseman. Center fielder Jose Ayala and first baseman Casey Prychak to face Adam Beeman, who's making his 9th appearance of the season and 8th out of the bullpen. Has a win to his credit. First pitch to Henriquez is up high, ball 1. A 4.10 earned run average for Beeman, one of the Saskatoon product, coming off his freshman year at Central Arizona College. Swing and a miss, strike 1. Beeman's a big boy, 6'4", 220 pounds. He's pitched 15 in the third innings, allowed 14 hits, 7 runs, all earned, struck out 15, walked 12. Swing and a miss, Henriquez swinging for the downs. 1-2 the count. Henriquez follow through on that big swing may have clipped Rudy Gonzalez. Checking on Gonzalez was home plate umpire Lloyd Tulp, and then Henriquez with a little tap of the bat to the shin guard. Now 1-2 pitch swung on and lifted in the air. Center field, Carter Beck is there to get it. 1 away. There's hardly a cloud in the sky right now. She's turned into a gorgeous Sunday afternoon here at Next Gen Patch, and for 1,926 fans, 2 more outs will make it an even better afternoon as the Berries seek a 4th straight win and 32nd of the year. Jose Ayala at the plate. First pitch low and away, breaking ball, ball 1. Ayala is 2 for 3. Productive day for him. A couple of RBIs. Drove in a run in the third inning with a sacrifice fly and hit a solo homer in the 5th. This one is looped and will be caught at first base by Corey Waters, and there's 2 away. So last chance hotel now for Swift Current. Casey Prychak coming to the plate. 1 for 4, singled and scored in the third inning. That hit in the third inning ended a 3-game hitless streak for Prychak. Big swing and a miss on a fastball, strike 1. Prychak listed as a catcher from here in Saskatoon, coming off his junior year at Wayne State College. Hits this one in the air to center field. Beck going back, and will make the catch. Got twisted around a little bit, but was able to stick with it, make the catch, and that's the ball game. 11-6 the final. The Saskatoon Berries defeat the Swift Current 57s. Nothing across in the top of the 9th inning for Swift Current. No runs, no hits, no Berries errors, nobody left on base. Again, your final today, Saskatoon 11, Swift Current 6. We'll come back in 60 seconds with the final totals and a wrap-up as you're listening to Saskatoon Berries Baseball on CJWW. And you're watching Berries Baseball on FloCollege. Back to wrap things up from Next Gen Patch at Cairns Field as the Berries are heading off on the road and won't be back now until the 24th of July. They win today over the Swift Current 57s, 11-6. Your final unofficial line score for the Saskatoon Berries. 11 runs on 12 hits. They committed 3 errors. They left 10 runners on base. For the Swift Current 57s, 6 runs on 10 hits. They committed 3 errors. They left 8 runners on base. Matthias Tronson, the second pitcher to pitch today for the Saskatoon Berries, gets the win. His record now is 2-0. And the losing pitcher for Swift Current is their starter today, Adam Cordy, whose record drops to 2-4. 1,926 the attendance today. A game that took 2 hours and 48 minutes to play on a nice Sunday afternoon, considering it was drizzling along here just shortly before game time. But they ended up getting the game in rather handily as the Berries win a 4th straight game, improved their record to 32 wins and 5 losses. 19-2 at Cairns Field, and they've won 4 of 5 head-to-head with Swift Current. The 57s dropped to 7 wins and 29 losses for the year. They've lost 5 in a row. They're 3-16 on the road this season. Again, the Berries head off on the road. They're in Medicine Hat tomorrow night, then into Okotoks for games Tuesday and Wednesday, Lethbridge on Thursday and Friday. Get a Saturday off on the road as they travel from Alberta to southeastern Saskatchewan for games Saturday and Sunday against Weyburn, and then, Sunday and Monday, the 20th and 21st against Weyburn, then Tuesday the 22nd in Swift Current before playing host to the 57s again on Thursday, July 24th. For folks listening on CJWW, we will have another Berries broadcast for you coming up on Sunday, August the 3rd, when the Medicine Hat Mavericks are here. That's the next time we'll be on the radio, but we'll be back again for folks on FloCollege coming up on Thursday, July 24th, 11 days from now. So for now, on behalf of Michael Salmon, my technical producer back at the studio at CJWW, all the folks involved with Flo Sports, everybody with FloCollege, all the gang here with the Saskatoon Berries. My name is Les Lazaruk. Hope you have a great rest of your Sunday. 11-6 Saskatoon over Swift Current. Again, the final. You've been listening to Saskatoon Berries Baseball on CJWW, and you've been watching Berries Baseball on FloCollege.